At the heart of the world's financial capitals, there's a recurring question whispered in the corridors of power. How do the ultra-wealthy really wield their influence? It's a puzzle that's both timeless and timely. Sometimes it takes the shape of a single mysterious deal, a company that seems to come from nowhere, buying up assets far beyond its apparent reach. Other times, it's a person, a billionaire whose fortune seems both impossible and inevitable. Their names flicker across headlines, their companies traded on stock tickers, but the true machinery that moves their fortunes is almost always out of sight. For years, the world has watched the rise of figures like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Warren Buffett, with a mix of admiration and suspicion. Their stories are told in boardrooms and business schools, their faces splashed across magazine covers. To the public, they represent the ultimate market success stories, visionaries who built empires from scratch, outwitting competitors and reshaping entire industries through sheer brilliance and relentless drive. Wall Street analysts dissect their every move, seeking the secret formula behind their staggering returns. Investors clamor for a seat at the table, eager for even a fraction of that magic. Their companies, Amazon, Tesla, Berkshire Hathaway, are held up as models of innovation and excellence. Bezos is celebrated for turning an online bookstore into the world's retail backbone. Musk is hailed as the audacious engineer who dragged electric cars and space travel into the mainstream. Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, is revered for his almost supernatural knack for picking winners in the stock market. Their public images are as carefully curated as any brand, projecting confidence, intelligence, and above all, the sense that their success is both deserved and replicable. But beneath the surface, the architecture sustaining this level of power is far more complex and far less visible. The real story isn't just about vision or genius. It's about hidden leverage, intricate legal structures, and a relentless pursuit of control. Billionaires rarely operate alone. They rely on webs of trusts, shell companies, and offshore entities designed to obscure true ownership and minimize risk. These structures make it nearly impossible for outsiders to trace the flow of money or influence. Even regulators struggle to keep up. The hidden edge, though, isn't just in legal engineering. It's in the ability to bend the rules, sometimes legally, sometimes in gray areas, and occasionally well beyond the line. Consider the strategic use of debt. Many billionaires leverage their equity, borrowing billions against assets that never have to be sold, allowing them to access cash without triggering taxes. These loans are often secured at ultra-low rates, thanks to the perceived safety of their holdings. Meanwhile, complex lobbying efforts quietly reshape regulations in their favor, often out of public view. The real power isn't just in what they own, but in how they structure that ownership and how they make the rules work for them. Yet for all their advantages, this architecture isn't invulnerable. Weaknesses hide in plain sight. When a billionaire's empire is built on borrowed money and opaque structures, it can be surprisingly fragile. A sudden market downturn, a regulatory crackdown, or even a single leak can unravel the entire system. The 2008 financial crisis exposed just how quickly supposedly rock-solid empires could collapse. Names once synonymous with stability, Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, vanished almost overnight. Even today, as markets lurch from crisis to boom and back again, the same vulnerabilities persist. The turning point often arrives without warning. A whistleblower comes forward. An investigative reporter follows a paper trail. Sometimes it's a simple miscalculation, a risky bet that goes sour, or a new technology that upends the business model. In some cases, governments step in, driven by public outrage or political necessity. Suddenly, the hidden architecture is forced into the light. Shell companies are unmasked. Tax havens are exposed. The billionaire, once untouchable, finds their empire under siege from all sides. Rehook. This is when the markets, investors, and rivals finally see the true shape of power. The mask slips, and the underlying mechanics come into focus. Who actually owns what? Who controls which levers? And where the real risks lie? Investors once content to ride the coattails of genius start to ask harder questions. Rivals, sensing weakness, move in. The market's respect is replaced by skepticism, then fear. Fortunes can evaporate in days as confidence unravels and liquidity dries up. In this moment, The architecture that once protected and empowered becomes a trap, one that can collapse with astonishing speed. But if there's a lesson here, it's that power in the modern financial world is never just about money. It's about leverage, financial, legal, and political. The most successful billionaires aren't just visionary entrepreneurs. They're architects of systems designed to maximize control and minimize exposure. They understand that public image matters, but that the real game is played in the shadows, where complexity and opacity are their own forms of security. And yet, the very structures that create this hidden power are also sources of vulnerability. When the music stops, the reckoning is often swift and merciless. For those watching from the outside, the story of billionaire power is a reminder. What you see is rarely what you get. The true architecture is hidden, by design. It's a world where fortunes are made and lost not just in the marketplace, but in the margins, in the legal footnotes, the offshore filings, and the quiet negotiations that never make the news. In the end, understanding power means looking beyond the headlines to the structures that shape not just companies, but entire economies. Stay curious.